It was one of those nights when the city lights seemed too bright for how lonely the world felt. The rain danced on car roofs, blurring reflections of neon signs, and inside a long black limousine parked outside a restaurant sat a man who had everything except peace. Alexander Knight, the billionaire CEO of Knight Enterprises, had just left another high-profile charity gala. Everyone had smiled, shaken his hand, praised his empire, and then gone home to families waiting for them. But for him, home was an empty penthouse filled with silence that echoed. As his driver turned a corner toward the highway, a small figure darted into the street barefoot, soaked from head to toe, clutching a ragged teddy bear. The driver hit the brakes and the limo screeched to a stop. "Sir, it's a child," the driver gasped. Alex immediately stepped out, rain drenching his suit in seconds. The girl stood trembling, no more than 6 years old, her tiny face pale, but her eyes were the color of hope that refused to die. "Hey, are you all right?" Alex crouched down. The girl looked up at him and asked, trembling, "Are you a daddy?" The question caught him completely off guard. Daddy," he repeated. She nodded, hugging her teddy tighter. "Because you look like someone who needs a wife," she whispered softly, "and I need a dad." Alex froze, something in his chest cracked open. It was the kind of innocence only a child could have, to say something so simple yet so deeply true. He knelt beside her as thunder rolled in the distance. "Where's your mommy?" he asked gently. The little girl's lip quivered. "She's sick, she didn't wake up this morning." The words hit Alex like a punch to the gut. He called for his driver to bring her inside the limo immediately. She shivered as he wrapped his jacket around her small shoulders. She smelled faintly of rain and soap, the fragile scent of a child's world collapsing. Inside the limo, she clutched his sleeve and whispered, "I'm not scared of you, you look lonely like me." That night, instead of dropping her at the police station like he was supposed to, Alex couldn't bring himself to leave her there crying. He waited until the authorities located the hospital where her mother had been taken, and when they arrived, it was too late. Her mother, Emily, a single waitress who worked double shifts to raise her daughter, had passed away from heart failure. The little girl's name was Lily. Alex stayed through the night with her at the hospital, sitting beside her as she slept, clutching her teddy bear, her tiny hand resting on his. He had signed million-dollar contracts with less hesitation than he felt now. Something about that hand made him feel human again. When morning came, the social worker approached him. "She has no other family, we'll have to place her in foster care." Alex looked at Lily's face, peaceful, innocent, unaware of how cruel the world could be. He took a deep breath and said, "No, she'll come with me." The social worker blinked. "Mr. Knight, this is highly irregular." "I'll make it legal," he interrupted quietly. "I have lawyers." That was how the billionaire CEO, who had once vowed never to care about anyone again after losing his wife in a car crash years ago, found himself bringing home a 6-year-old girl who called him Mr. Alex. Days turned into weeks. At first, their house felt like two strangers learning to breathe in the same space. She drew pictures for him while he worked late. She left little notes on his desk: "Don't forget dinner, Mr. Alex," or "Your coffee is too bitter, add milk." He didn't even realize when he started smiling again. Then one day, his board members noticed something had changed. The ruthless, cold CEO was suddenly human. He started investing in children's hospitals, in education programs, in affordable housing. Knight Enterprises began to stand for compassion, not just profit. It all started with a girl who believed he needed a family. But life wasn't done testing them. Months later, a woman named Hannah entered their lives, Lily's teacher. She was warm, calm, and the first person who didn't treat Alex like a billionaire, but just a man. Lily adored her. She'd often say, "You should marry Miss Hannah, Mr. Alex, you'd both smile more." He'd laugh it off, but deep down, he felt something stirring again. Hannah wasn't impressed by his cars or his company. She cared about the way he spoke to Lily, how gently he brushed her hair before school, how he sat through her ballet recitals in the front row every time. Then one evening, while dropping Lily at school, Hannah noticed Alex's hand shaking slightly. He brushed it off, but she saw something in his eyes, a man terrified of losing the only light he'd found again. "Alex," she said softly, "you've carried guilt for too long. You can love again, you deserve that." That night, Lily tiptoed into his room with her teddy and whispered, "Mr. Alex, Mommy told me before she went to heaven that people meet for reasons. Maybe you met me so you could love again." He hugged her tightly, tears streaming down his face for the first time in years. "You're right, sweetheart, you saved me." A few months later, Alex and Hannah stood together at the courthouse, Lily holding both their hands, her smile bright as sunshine after a storm. When the judge finalized the adoption, Lily looked up at him and whispered with pure joy, "Now you're really my dad." Alex knelt down, voice trembling, "And you're really my daughter." The next week he proposed to Hannah, not with luxury but with love. "You gave me my heart back," he told her, "and she gave me my soul." They married in a small garden ceremony. Lily scattered rose petals, giggling as Alex finally smiled, a real, full smile for the first time in a decade. Years later, as Lily grew up, she often told the story to her friends. "I found my dad sitting alone in a limo. He had all the money in the world but no one to love him, so I told him, 'You need a wife and I need a dad,' and guess what? We both got our wish." You've read this far, remember, love doesn't always come the way we expect. Sometimes the smallest act of kindness, the purest word from a child, can change an entire life.